received about 6 months ago. Castro Valley as a community isn't well known for accepting new ideas. We are still complaining about a sign that's been gone since 1997. And there were a lot of moving parts to this museum. Cross Point had to come on board. We needed the Rotary sponsorship, and we definitely needed the Hayward Area Historical Society, and the big engine to hitch up to our little wagon. And how crazy was the first pitch that we had to make to Hayward Area Historical? So you've got me, this ex-juvenile delinquent. I've got a Facebook page, not even a website. I've got a Facebook page. I want to have a pop-up museum that's never been tried before. I want to do it in an empty retail space. We're going to use your collection. We're going to use your manpower. And by the way, Hayward Area Historical Society, you're going to pay for it. But don't worry, on the opening night, I will be happy to stand up here and give a speech and act like I actually did something for you guys. I've always been a fan of the whole, Mickey Rooney, Judy Garland, let's put on a show idea. I've got a hammer, you've got a nail, let's build a clubhouse. This exhibit took lots of people working together. We had to trust each other because, actually, I just talked to Diane yesterday. We have never talked on the phone this whole time. It's all been email or Facebook, and we managed to put it together. So with our conviction and our hard work, we managed to put this together. If you look around, I think we've put together a clubhouse. It's pretty cool. I love history. I've never been a big fan of dates. I love the narrative. I love the story. All too often, I think, as historians, we get stuck on the idea that history is, this house or this battlefield, this document, or even this museum right here. It's like history only exists in books or these four walls. But history is all around us. And it's not demarcated by some line, some arbitrary line 50 years ago. It's here. It's right now. I started CVLegends because I was fascinated with creating an oral history about Castro Valley. Where did you have your first kiss? Shoplifting, cruising the boulevard. These are all tiny, poignant points of real history. I'm going to give you a bigger example. We all know that after World War II, the suburbs exploded in Castro Valley. We all know that. That's fine. It's cut, it's dry. But how much deeper is that if you know that, your favorite neighbors, or what the kitchen appliances looked like in those first houses, or, who put in the sidewalks? Like if your uncle put in the sidewalks. The sidewalks that we actually haven't. And how cool is that? All those little stories create the connective tissue that fleshes out our community history. And I know that sounds kind of grandiose and sounds kind of bombastic, and believe me, a lot of times on CVLegends we're happy to talk about burritos or streaking or the fun stuff. But the bottom line is this town has a lot to offer, it has a lot to give me. I've created a wonderful life here, and I'm just happy to be able to give a little bit back through this museum. So thank you to Heather Mellon and Diane Curry. Without them, this literally would not have happened. Cross Point Realty, Worthington Photography, the Rotary Club for the food and the booze. Come on, that's big thank yous for that. Especially the Historical Society. I also need to thank Johanna and John. I'm going to take just a quick aside. I could not remember John's name for the life of me. And this is how Castro Valley centric my brain is. His name's John, and I would call him Matt, I would call him Michael. I just couldn't get it. So I knew that it was a religious name. So I took John, Bible, church, 3 T's. 3 T's is on John Drive, and I haven't forgotten his name since. so that's how ingrained Castro Valley is in my head. And Haas has been wonderful to work with. They let me play in their sandbox. I've got new ideas bubbling around in my brain called it, and hopefully we can do something else crazy like no. Special thanks to my family, especially my wife. She acted as my sounding board as I obsessed about the details or freaked out because someone has spoiled the surprise. And finally, thank you to Castro Valley. You're the reason this is here. Enjoy the exhibits. Please grab some of the post-it notes. Write down your comments on the exhibits. Share your memories. We're trying to make this as interactive as possible. And then when you go home, I want you to bombard Facebook and Twitter and the telephone. Call your friends, your neighbors. Tell them to get down here and be a part of this community. This doesn't happen very often. We need to support it when it does. And one last thing, please take a picture with Don Castro because, I mean, I couldn't dress like that. So, thank you all very much. You have a good night and enjoy. Thank you.